Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits.
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really let casting wardrobe? Y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not gonna see it. We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, "Baby, you ate on this first date. You giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Or you gonna run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins? Run me my cooch or run me my coins." That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Ooh, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was gonna stop. I thought Lil Bird was gonna turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lube and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Girl. Uncle Clifford, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. Well, he had it on look like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yana Van Zamp's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped here everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. Like, you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. And Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Get me up in my DMs, I do want to see if you have some blue thong or blue, jock strap, something like that. I'd love to see it. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy. I am here. I am here. Never fear. I am here. I was gathering myself, getting myself together. I know we just finished Teacher Project 2.0. I needed a couple minutes to get it together, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I got snacks. I went and bought another bag. Y'all know sometimes I find little snacks that I get addicted to, and I'm now addicted to these little Starburst gummies. They're so good. Anyway, and they got all of the good flavors. See, they have cherry, strawberry, watermelon, and blue raspberry. Like, they don't have, you know how they always throw a nasty flavor in there, like lemon, orange, or some shit like that you don't want. This don't got none of the bad flavors. Like, all of these are flavors that I can get with. You got strawberry, watermelon, blueberry, and cherry. I can get with those. Long as you don't give me nothing like no lemon or banana or orange. None of those three. Long as I don't get none of those three, I'm probably okay. But if you give me one of those three, I'm like, girl, don't nobody eat that mess. Anyway, I don't know where my Gatorade's at. I know they're probably over there in the back of that pantry. So I found a Powerade in my refrigerator. So, but I know I got another 8-pack of Gatorade somewhere in the back of that pantry that I need to whip out. Anyway, we are here. We have a lot to cover. Really B has told me I don't have to rush. So I don't have to feel. I apologize for yesterday, y'all. I know I was rushing yesterday. I had that mandatory meeting I had to be on, and I was really rushed, and I apologize if I was like bam, 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 and I was just like trying to get it out because I wanted to get as much out as I could, but I couldn't be late for the stupid meeting. And nevertheless, we're here. So today we can relax, relate, release, relax, relate, release. And we can take our time and we can unpack some stuff and we don't have to feel rushed and we could just have us a good old time over here. Just a good time. Okay? Y'all ready to have a good time? If you're ready to have a good time and get this party started the right way, go ahead and put a Shondo in the chat already. Just go ahead and put a Shondo in the chat already. Let me go ahead and say hi to y'all. And then we'll go ahead and knock this thing down. The dossier is packed. We'll knock this down. Hey, Tracy W. Jason is here. Terrence is in the building. Janae is here. Cassandra is here. Shay is in the building. My girl Demetria is here. Crazy Homebody Girl has her face in the place. We got Drinks with D here. Brittany Janae is here. Lock Queen. Hey boo. Tamara is here. Savon is here. Symmetry is here. Everybody done found their face in the place. Listen, the blue bag of nerd clusters, I stay away from it. I know exactly what you're talking about, Cassandra. That damn blue bag of nerd clusters. Baby, I see that shit in the store. I'd be like, just walk by. Just walk on by. And so it was in the Publix, the blue bag of nerd clusters was right next to this. So I was over there like, do I get the nerds? Do I get this? So I just went with this because I've been addicted to these lately. But I feel you on the blue bag of nerd clusters. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Hey, tacos and tequila. What's going on, boo? Hey, by the way, how you doing today? Sweet Pea. What's good, boo? Jeannie, what is up, my love? Hey, friend. Cha. Will you be spiking out real bad? Baby, I would suggest you just go ahead and get you something sweet to to nibble on, suck on. Just go get some vittles or something to regulate your sugar levels. I'm just telling you. Anyway, anyway, I'm not gonna even go say that. I had a thought in my head. I'm not gonna let it out. Anyway, we ready to get this party started, and we are going to start like we have started every day this month, and that is with our Pride Month fact or our Pride Month moment. And the person that we're spotlighting today for Pride Month, you got trees to keep you regulated. I know that's right, Shay. You got you some sour high chews. Now, I never had the sour bag of high chews. Demetria, are they good? I've had all of the other bags, but I've never had the sour bag. You might make me go get that, Demetria, the sour bag. Okay, now I'm gonna put that on my list, Demetria. I see you. However, the person that we are spotlighting today, I had no idea who this person was. I learned of them today. So even I learned today, and I, you know, try to know as much as I can. But I love to always be learning. And excuse me. And yeah, the person that we have today, I even learned something. So I think this person has a very interesting bio, and I think you'll learn. So the person that sour bag slaps harder than Ike, Joe, and Chris combined. Oh shit. I'm gonna have to go get that. Child, now y'all gonna make me go get that sour bag of high chews. All right, so the person that we are looking at today is none other than a gentleman by the name of Terrence Allen Smith. Terrence Allen Smith is his name. Let's learn about Terrence Allen Smith. Terrence Allen Smith created the character Joan Jett Black, one of the first drag queens to step off the stage and enter the world of politics. In 1990, inspired by Queer Nation and the need for visibility during the AIDS crisis, um, he challenged Richard M. Daley for mayor of Chicago, bringing blackness and queerness into an otherwise mundane campaign. Terrence Smith helped to give voice to a community coming into its own. Many years as a drag performer left Black Tress left Joan with a quick wit and fresh look at the issues that glamorize the decidedly unglamorous world of Chicago machine politics. In 1992, Joan Jett Black, or Terrence Allen Smith, entered the presidential race, becoming the first drag queen to seek the highest office in the land. Um, Smith often said, quote, if a bad actor can be elected president, why not a good drag queen, end of quote. One of her campaign slogans was, quote, lick Bush in 92, end of quote. That year, Joan Jett Black attended the Democratic National Convention in New York City, delighting delegates and angering conservatives. Since relocating to San Francisco, and also you should know, Joan Jett Black, or Terrence Allen Smith, I should say, was on the actual ballot for as presidential candidate. Was actually on the 1992 ballot for president, for candidacy for the president of these yet to be United States of America. Since relocating to San Francisco in 1992, Joan Jett Black has been the subject of a play about her political career, written and directed by Terrell Alvin McCraney, who we all love, and Tina Landau at Chicago's legendary Steppenwolf Theater. The Beauty President, an award-winning documentary about Smith about Smith's was directed by Whitney Scouge. Recently, her own Smith has been hosting her own talk show, Late Night with Joan Jett Black. In 2019, Joan Jett Black was awarded a Sustained Achievement Award by Queer Art, a nonprofit LGBTQ plus arts organization. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of Terrence Allen Smith, or Joan Jett Black. And that Black is spelled Blakk. Joan Jett Black is her stage name. I'll put it in the chat, both names in the chat. So if you want to go, because there is a longer story. I chose not to do the longer story, but because the story of how how the race for Chicago mayor happened is a very interesting part of the story, as well as the story on how Joan Jett Black, or Terrence Allen Smith, ended up on the ballot for president of the United States of America, first drag queen ever on the ballot. And oftentimes you don't see you see a little more of it recently, but traditionally you did not see drag queens getting into the political arena. They may comment on politics as it informed or as it affected the LGBTQ plus space and as it affected the LGBTQ plus community, but few of them actually ran for office. They would be activists, they would be protesting, but very few of them actually ran for office. So you had someone here who ran for mayor of Chicago, as well as president of the United States, first drag queen ever to run for president of the United States. And that's the story of Terrence Allen Smith, or Joan Jett Black. There you have it. Hopefully you learned. I learned today. I did not know the story of Terrence Allen Smith, and I'm so glad to learn it. I actually want to go watch the play by Terrell Alvin McCraney. I want to go and watch that play, see if I can find it somewhere close to me, and go watch it. All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I'm not doing this with you, Tracy. I am not doing this with you. Nope. Ooh, child. You mean so Lori Lightfoot's hairline can run away from her forehead? Girl. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary gender conforming members of our audience, I bring to you the late great Larry Myers to help us usher in our Sugar Spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major Sugar Spike.
So love the world. I want to fight. That he gave, his only begotten son.
Major Sugar Spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major Sugar Spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus! I wish somebody help me.
Jesus. Thank you, Larry. So, we start off today with our updates on protests that are not just going on in LA, but now they're taking place all over the country. We have protests going on in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Minneapolis. We have protests going on in Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, Austin. We have protests going on in so many cities around the country. It's hard to keep up with. Very hard to keep up with. Let me Chicago, I know, is one of the areas as well. So we got protests happening all over the place. Let me give you as many updates as I can, because there are a lot of them, and I'm going to try to be as concise as I can and try to get you as many of these updates, because like I said, there's a lot of updates, and I want to make sure you are informed. So earlier this morning, Los Angeles police swiftly enforced a downtown curfew as protests against Trump's immigration crackdown continued. Los Angeles police began making arrests moments after after the curfew took effect, while deploying officers on horseback and using crowd control projectiles to break up a group of hundreds of demonstrators. Members of the National Guard stood watch behind plastic shields, but did not appear to participate in the arrests. And that was from Tuesday night. So that's all stemming from Tuesday night. That's reporting from last night when the curfew took effect and they started to round people up. Speaking to reporters yesterday or last night, your president left open the possibility of invoking the Insurrection Act, which authorizes the president to deploy military forces inside the country to suppress rebellion or domestic violence, or to enforce the law in certain situations. It's one of the most extreme emergency powers available to a U.S. president. He said, quote, "If there's an insurrection, I will certainly invoke it. We'll see." End of quote. Then, like I said, we have protests from all over the place: DC, Seattle, Austin, Chicago, Minneapolis, Philadelphia. I mean, there were just protests popping up all over the place. And y'all know my stance on it. If you want to protest, by all means, go and protest. If you don't want to protest, by all means, don't protest. All I ask is don't try to make people feel bad about protesting. I'm just saying, don't try to make people feel bad about protesting. Let's just be clear. All right. New York City reported that they had detained more than 80 people during protests Tuesday night. So some of these cities are cracking down. They were reporting more than 100 people in Southern California had already been detained since Friday. They one day laborer who said he started carrying his green card everywhere. Got the news because he was afraid that even though he had a green card, he would be deported. The San Antonio mayor says city officials did not ask the Texas National Guard to be deployed. However, Republican Governor Hot Wheels Greg Abbott's office said last night that National Guard troops were on standby in areas where demonstrations are planned. That came after the police in Austin used chemical irritants to disperse several hundred demonstrators between yesterday and Monday near the state capitol. We know you scared, Governor Hot Wheels, because Austin is right in your backyard. You live in Austin. While y'all are protesting in Austin, please just go get large tubs or vats of Crisco oil, the condensed kind, not the liquefied kind, the solid kind that your grandma used to have back in the day. That's white. Go get some of that Crisco and just line the goddamn wheelchair ramp down to the motherfucking governor's mansion so his ass can go careening down the damn wheelchair ramp. God. Hey, Jason. Hey, Miss Baythang. Hey, Ravine. Hey, Chef Don. Hey, Cybera. Hey, lovely 31 Blueprint. Everybody coming in. Just go ahead. Just line that wheelchair ramp with some Crisco oil and just push. Or just stop by Diddy House and get some of that Astro Glide. I'm just saying. Cha. It's a mess. Where am I at? Now they're planning protests tonight near the Alamo in San Antonio. In San Antonio, they're planning protests near the Alamo. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said he has not been told by either the governor's office or the guard how many troops would be in the city, where they would be positioned, or what they will be doing. The governor's office has not publicly released any details. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum had plans to discuss she did discuss, I should say, Kristi Noem's comments accusing her of inciting violence. She said the fact that she was accused of inciting violence, that accusation was starkly untrue. Now, she said she would speak with Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau about that when he rose up in there today. Now, he was supposed to be up in there today. I'm sure she had a few words for him because President Sheinbaum, she'll give a fuck. She's about that life. She'll say whatever she need to say. She don't care. She said Kristi Noem's comments were completely false. Here we are. Denver, where there were also protests, police said that they arrested 17 people during protests against immigration raids. The hundreds who marched last night down thoroughfares in the city blocking traffic and chanting were eventually told to disperse by police in Denver. Officers used smoke and pepper balls similar to paintballs, but filled with a substance akin to pepper spray to control the crowd, the Denver Police Department said in a statement Wednesday. 3 people were arrested on assault charges, according to Denver police. Other charges included graffiti, unlawfully throwing projectiles, and failing to follow the police's orders. Attorney General, Attorneys General Coalition, and a coalition of 18 Democratic attorneys general condemned the Trump administration for what they called the unlawful deployment of the California National Guard amid the protests in Los Angeles. Those states included Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, and Vermont. After the curfew was lifted in Los Angeles, they was back at it. They was right back at it. Curfew was lifted at 6 a.m. Baby, they was right back at it. They said, let's get it. Baby, let's get it. Let's get it. Now, at that time, when the curfew was off, came off at 6 a.m., at that point, there was no signs of Marines being deployed to downtown as of that time. About now, according to the Department of Defense, about 700 Marines are still undergoing civil disturbance training at Naval Weapons Stations Seal Beach Seal Beach in Orange County, California, and that's according to Major General Scott Sherman, head of the task force that's overseeing the deployment of the National Guard and Marines to Los Angeles. Major General Sherman wouldn't speculate about when the Marines might join the 2,000 or so National Guard troops that have been deployed in downtown Los Angeles to protect federal buildings during sometimes violent demonstrations against President Trump's administration crackdown. Another 2,000 National Guard troops were expected to mobilize tomorrow, according to Major General Sherman. New York Police Department said they detained more than 80 people on Tuesday night. They said that they're here for it in NYPD. Y'all know NYPD is just as racist as they come. So you know they're here for it. Now, where am I? I lost my place. Hakeem Jeffries and House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, they got on a microphone and said a bunch of nothing, gave their support to Gavin Newsom, basically said a bunch of nothing. They are so weak and feckless. So weak. A woman was injured in Chicago after a car struck the protesters. Chicago police say a 66-year-old woman was injured when she was struck by a car during downtown protest last night. Crowds of demonstrators rallying in solidarity with activists in Los Angeles took over a plaza and some surrounding streets amid rush hour traffic. Video footage shows a car speeding through a roadway where people were standing and were protesting. Police said Wednesday that the injured woman fractured her left arm and was treated at a local hospital. No other injuries were reported. Chicago police say detectives are investigating, but no charges have been filed yet. The Department of Homeland Security says 9 people were arrested in LA. 9 people that were arrested in LA had criminal convictions. Mind you, they told us they've already arrested well over 100, but out of that, only 9 of them had criminal convictions or were criminals. But they're only going after the criminals. I'm just making this make sense, y'all. I'm just trying to thread the needle here and make it make sense. Let me look at the chat real fast. Hold on one second. Because y'all probably saying stuff and I'm missing it. The rap about to be a slip and slide. It need to be. Montrez, what's good, bro? I got $40 for industrial grade lubricant for this project. Yes. I literally I thought of runway child, not wheelchair. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Hey, Faye Night, and then let me take a moment, y'all. Please, lend your thoughts and prayers to Faye Night, and she did let me know last night in the comment section that her mom passed away, and certainly, Faye, we are praying for you, your family, for comfort and just comfort and solace at this time. We know grieving is hard, and certainly, if there's anything we could do to help. And even if it's just giving you a good laugh to get your mind off of it, we are here. So we certainly are praying for you and sending our heartfelt thoughts and prayers and condolences to you and your family. Um, to you. Hey, Katrina, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, Miss Shorty B. But yes, we are praying for you, Faye. We are praying for you. All right. Where was I at? Okay. So, but yes, according to a Homeland Security uh, um, deputy, I'm sorry, the spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, Trisha McLaughlin, we gonna get more to that bitch later. She said, quote, how much longer will Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass continue to prioritize these criminal illegal aliens over their own citizens? Secretary Kristi Noem has a message to the LA rioters. You will not stop us or slow us down. ICE will continue to enforce the law and arrest criminal illegal aliens. End of quote. Trisha McLaughlin is a real piece of shit. Let's just be clear. A real piece of shit. Two people were charged for allegedly throwing Molotov cocktails toward police during the LA protest. No officers were hit. Both people are charged with possession of an unregistered destructive device, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley, excuse me, that was a hard one, said at a press conference today, he said, quote, you can make a statement, but you can't throw bombs or Molotov cocktails, end of quote. Investigators are combing through FBI videos, body camera footage from law enforcement, and other evidence on social media. Authorities expect to charge more people in the coming days and weeks. Please also know there are people planted in these protests from the other side that are adjutants trying to spark violence. They absolutely, this is not conspiracy theorists, this is actual proven. Every time it happened during the Black Lives Matter protest, it happens every time we have peaceful protests. The other side sends people, adjutants and agitators, to go out there and spark violence when it's all being peaceful. And then that gives these lawmakers that want to do us harm anyway, that gives them a reason to go after us with tear gas and other things that they use, battering rams and all types of stuff, rubber bullets and shit and all kinds of stuff. So, Mayor Brandon Johnson says that protests in Chicago have been mainly peaceful, except for that one person that decided that they wanted to plow their car into the protesters. The mayor of Houston, John Whitmire, um, he said that the city is prepared for any and all protests that happen over there, that he doesn't feel that there's a need for any National Guard in the city of Houston. LA police says that they have now detained over 200 people during the protest. Actually, at the time, and that time, this was around 2:44 Eastern Standard Time. They had arrested 203 people for failing to disperse. 17 others were arrested, detained, I should say, for violating the curfew that was set at 8 p.m. last night. Police arrested several more people for possessing a firearm, assaulting a police officer, and shining a laser at a police airship. What the fuck is a police airship? Like, what is a police? I've never even heard of that. Police said they used numerous less lethal munitions to control the crowd. Two officers were injured Tuesday, bringing the total number of injured over the past several days of protests to 9. Mayor Bass was joined by mayors from across the region, several of whom said they were immigrants. I'm sorry, let me go back. Mayor Bass called the raids in Southern California a provocation by the White House. She said, quote, maybe we are part of a national experiment about how far to determine the federal government can go in reaching in and taking over power from a governor, power from a local jurisdiction, end of quote. She was flanked and joined by mayors from around the region, several of whom said that they were actually immigrants themselves. They said immigrants are vital to the economy, including harvesting food for the country. The Mayor Maria Davila of the city of Southgate said, quote, we are not criminals. We are hardworking people. We came to the U.S. to work to better our families, end of quote. She's one of those mayors who said that she, too, was an immigrant. Many city leaders said raids have been happening outside Home Depots, churches, and other businesses. A woman who was 9 months pregnant and a man dropping off his granddaughter were among those detained. Um, the mayor said an overnight curfew for downtown neighborhoods will remain in effect indefinitely. Mayor Bass said officials will consider lifting it if there are fewer arrests tonight. She said, quote, what I'm hoping is that Angelinos got the message last night, end of quote. How long it will remain in place also depends on the response from the federal government, according to Mayor Bass. Quote, if there are raids that continue, if there are soldiers marching up and down our streets, I would imagine that the curfew will continue, end of quote. Texas Governor Hot Wheels, Greg Abbott, he refuses to disclose the details of his National Guard mobilization plan. Speaking at a bill signing news conference today, he said he would not say how many Guard members will be used or how they will be used. He added that they will be in strategic locations where they can provide the most robust response if needed. He's on record saying, quote, there are others outside of this room who would like to know that, and I'm not going to tell them, end of quote. Protests are planned in San Antonio tonight and in other cities around Texas this weekend. San Antonio officials have said they didn't ask for the guard to be sent. Governor Abbott said, quote, we want to make sure that what has happened in California does not happen in Texas, end of quote. 17 people were arrested in Chicago protests. Some of those arrested in connection with protests, downtown protests during rush hour yesterday were charged with vandalism. Now, Mayor Brandon said it wasn't nothing going on over there, but I mean, we're not going to talk about. I mean, Mayor Brandon, you said everything was peachy keen. You had a whole lady get run down by a car. Y'all done arrested 17 people. 4 people face felony charges, including aggravated battery against an officer of the peace. Thousands of people demonstrated in a downtown plaza to call out the Trump administration's immigration operation and his move to dispatch the military to California. Chicago leaders say the majority of protesters were peaceful and exercising their First Amendment rights. About 500 National Guard troops have been trained so far to accompany agents on immigration raids, on ICE immigration raids, and that's according to the commander for the National Guard. The commander in charge of the National Guard says that civilians um, have been detained by members of the National Guard, but were quickly turned over to law enforcement. Major General Scott Sherman also said about 500 of the National Guard troops, I just said that, have been trained. We also know that there's a total of more than 4,000 National Guard troops there, and 700 Marines have also been deployed to Los Angeles to provide security to the protests at this time. Most Los Angeles arrests have been for failing to leave the area. The Los Angeles Police Department have made more than 400 arrests and detentions since Saturday in connection to immigration protests. The vast majority have been for failing to leave the area in defiance of requests from law enforcement. According to police, there have been a handful of more serious charges, including for assault against police officers and for possession of a Molotov cocktail and a gun. 9 police officers have been wounded. Most were minor injuries, and some were transported to a hospital and released. That raggedy ass bitch, Caroline Levitt, when during her White House press briefing today, she said she has insisted that the president, quote, supports peaceful protests, end of quote, calling a reporter's question stupid when they asked if the president supports protests. LA's top prosecutor, the district attorney, Nathan Hochman, is expected to file dozens of criminal cases against peaceful protest disruptors. District Attorney Nathan Hochman highlighted 5 cases brought in recent days with charges including assault, grand theft, and felony vandalism. In one case, suspects allegedly shot fireworks at police officers. 2 other defendants are accused of driving their motorcycles into a line of officers. District Attorney Hochman said investigators were reviewing video of from demonstrations that turned violent over the weekend, and more charges are pending. He said people are encouraged to engage in peaceful demonstration, quote, but the moment they engage in illegal acts, they are no longer legitimate First Amendment protesters. They are criminals, end of quote. And those are the latest updates that I have from the protests going on around the country. That was a lot to read. I hope that I hope that gave you a lot of information that you needed. Hey Gigi, let me say hi to some people that came in. Hey Gigi, some other people that came in. Let me see if I missed anybody. All right, so those are our updates on all of the protests. Like I said, it's not just LA. Now, my question is this: this is not. Are they going to just start? Because I noticed they put Marines over in Los Angeles. Y'all gonna put Marines in other cities? Like, are we just going to start deploying the military over the country? I'm just trying to figure this out, because you can be clear. I really, really do believe that before this time next week, your president would have signed the Insurrection Act, would have signed papers, enacting the Insurrection Act, and you could have military troops on the ground performing law enforcement in every blue city in America. Notice I said blue cities. Or will it be like what we have now? Because you notice they're deploying military people to California. There are protests going on in Texas. They ain't deployed no military there. I guarantee you Chicago is probably going to be next. Philadelphia is probably going to be next, because these are blue areas. Illinois is a blue state. So I could absolutely see them deploying the military to Chicago, to New York, which is a blue state, and New York City being a blue city. Philadelphia being right there, just a hop, skip, and a jump from New York City. I could see them deploying troops there as well. All of the blue areas, you got all of that fever for, but you managed to not go over there to Texas, right? Because it's nothing to see there. Y'all notice I ain't read a fuck thing about Florida. I told you. The California Latinos and Hispanics, they're about this life. Them Cubans and Venezuelans, they ain't about that life. And the sad part is there's a huge Puerto Rican contingency in Central Florida around the Orlando area, that I-4 corridor, Orlando, Tampa area. There's a huge Puerto Rican contingency in that area. And they, since the last election cycle, they've gone the way of the Cubans and Venezuelans in South Florida, where they've gone completely red. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, he's trying to clean house. He's trying to clean house on all people that were appointed by Biden. If you were appointed by Biden, you should go ahead and just sharpen up your resume now. It's just a matter of time. In more news. That was good. In more news. Donald Trump has endorsed the U.S.-China trade deal struck in London that would ramp up supplies of rare earth minerals and magnets needed for the automotive industry, saying it will take total tariffs on Beijing to 55%. According to his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping still needed, acknowledging that his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, still needed to give his final approval on the terms agreed late last night at Lancaster House in London. Trump disclosed the pact would also facilitate Chinese students' access to U.S. colleges. According to reports in the U.S., China agreed to ease the restrictions on exports of rare earths for 6 months only. The 55% tariff total appears at first glance to be a hike from the 30% rate agreed in the truce struck early last month, when both sides slashed triple-digit rates. However, a White House official said it merely reflected Trump's worldwide 10% baseline reciprocal tariffs on imports, the 20% fentanyl trafficking levy, and a 25% pre-existing tariff on China. Writing on his Truth Social platform today, your president said, quote, "Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. Relationship is excellent." End of quote. Here's my thing, Donald John. Before you take your victory lap, I think you should wait for President Xi Jinping to say that he's okay with this, because you're over here bragging about they're getting 55% tax while US is only getting 10%. That doesn't quite sound equitable. And I don't know Xi Jinping to like people to try to flex on him. If you know the history of Xi Jinping, he looks real mild mannered and look like, he's real nonchalant. But Xi Jinping be about that life, and he will tell his people to fuck you up. So you over there trying to flex on this man and taking a victory lap before he's even signed off on this and said it's okay. You might be putting the cart before the horse, sir. I would not do no celebrating, sir, until you hear it from Xi Jinping's mouth, and I still wouldn't celebrate it then. I would wait until the ink is dried on a deal. I would wait, because you saying all of this shit, we ain't heard a fuck thing out of China. China ain't said shit yet, because what the Chinese diplomats know is we don't agree to a fuck thing until we get marching orders from Beijing. Unlike over here, they have a protocol. They have a chain of command. They know to keep it tight and right. They're not loosey goosey over there, because there are dire consequences over there. They don't play around. Now, I'm not saying that the deal isn't done, but I would not have said anything. I would have let it leak, and if it leaked, I would have said, "Listen, Once a deal is final and President Xi has agreed upon it, we will let you know. I'm just saying. Moving on. Well, if everything you heard today did not bother you, maybe you say, oh, they're not protesting in my area. Oh, the tariffs have not really affected me, so I have nothing to worry about. I want to remind you all that hurricane season started on June 1st. Let me read this to you. President Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem detailed changes they hope would make the Federal Emergency Management Area Agency, known as FEMA, indicating they intend to eliminate the agency, quote, as it exists today, end of quote, and to dole out less money to states that are hit by disasters. Quote, we want to we want to wean off of FEMA and we want to bring it down to the state level. We're moving it back to the states. End of quote. And that's what your president said in the Oval Office yesterday. He went on to say, quote, we're going to give out less money. It's going to be from the president's office. As an example, I just gave out $71 million to a certain state. They were looking to do about 120 million. They were happy with the 71 million. End of quote. I believe he's talking about North Carolina. Trump also indicated that changes could come after the current hurricane season, which lasts from June through November. Both he and Secretary Noem have called for getting rid of the disaster agency FEMA, which helps coordinate responses to hurricanes, wildfires, and more. Secretary Noem reiterated those calls on Tuesday, telling Trump, quote, you've been very clear that you want to see FEMA eliminated as it exists today. So I'm preparing all these governors that they will have more control over the decisions on how they respond to their communities so that it can happen faster. End of quote. The problem isn't how the governors respond. The problem is people need money after a fucking natural disaster, because after every natural disaster, stupid ass, every governor is with their hand out. Red, blue, purple. Doesn't matter the color of the state. Every governor does this. We need money. That includes Governor Death Sentence. That includes Governor Hot Wheels. That includes Governor Quasimodo. That includes Governor Mima. That includes all of the fucktard governors. When a natural disaster comes, they have their hands out because the states cannot afford to pay for this on their own. And you're talking about you giving out less money and they're going to just be happy with it. That's not how that works. In a natural disaster, people have had their whole lives upended and they need a way to make it right. Far be it for these people who have given tax dollars to the federal government. Far be it for them to expect the federal government to give those tax dollars back so that they can help put their lives back together after a natural disaster tore up their lives. This isn't self-inflicted wounds. This isn't people being stupid and doing dumb things. These are natural disasters that come through and just fuck shit up. It's no one's fault. And so what you're telling people is get over it. You won't be getting this money. Get over it. I need money for my golf trips. I need money to pay for this new $400 million jet. I need money to put in the wallets and bank accounts of billionaires who already have too much money. I need money to make sure that these people get tax write-offs. Damn your little tornado. Damn your wildfires. Damn your hurricanes. I don't give a damn about that. Damn the fact that you had torrential rain and now half your state is flooded and everybody in those areas lost everything. All of that shit be damned. I need money to give to my billionaire friends so I keep them happy and so we can go on yacht parties and golfing trips. I need money to pay for my golf ventures. I need money to pay for the only illegal immigrants that I want to stay in the country that will be in Mar-a-Lago. Right, because climate change isn't real. I mean, let's be clear. We could have worse devastation during hurricane season because you've decimated the National Weather Service, because you've decimated NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, because you've decimated the National Hurricane Hurricane Center. You've gotten rid of all of the important personnel there, many of the scientists, and now they're working with skeleton crews now, and they're already telling meteorologists in various areas we will not have as accurate hurricane predictions as we have had in the past. We may not be able to send as many hurricane hunters out there to make sure we know exactly what this hurricane is doing and where it's going. All of that shit be damned. Right. Why don't we send ICE down there to West Palm Beach to go to Mar-a-Lago and clean house over there? I don't see Tom Homan and Christy Nome rolling up in West Palm Beach. I noticed. They ain't rolling up over there. I'm just saying. It is. It's very expensive. In more news, now, what you see there is a map of military bases named after uh, after Confederate generals. Okay? Now, let me read this to you. President Trump yesterday announced the Pentagon will restore the names of the 7 remaining military installations formerly named after Confederate generals, after 2 others had been reverted back earlier this year. Quote, for a little breaking news, we are going to be restoring the names of Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rutger, Fort Polk, and Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee. End of quote. That's what he told attendees at a Fort Bragg, North Carolina celebration marking the Army's 250th anniversary. The bases are currently known as Fort Barfoot in Virginia, Fort Casavos in Texas, Fort Eisenhower in Georgia, Fort Novosel in Alabama, Fort Johnson in Louisiana, Fort Greg Adams also in Virginia, and Fort Greg Adams also in Virginia. Fort Walker, I should say, also in Virginia as well. Quote, it's no time to change, and I'm superstitious, you know. I like to keep it going, right? End of quote. That's what your president says. The promise fulfills a campaign pledge by your president who vowed to revert bases back to their original Confederate names after a congressionally mandated commission recommended new titles for 9 military bases in 2022. Defense Secretary Hegseth earlier this year ordered the names of two bases, Fort Liberty and Fort Moore, reverted back to Fort Bragg and Fort Benning. Remember, he said, oh, it's not the same Bragg and Benning. And I told y'all it was. They just was trying to play this, smoke and mirrors game. Just a mess. Just a mess. Just a mess. A mess. What is Congress going to do about it? Because this is in willful defiance of Congress. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Now, here's the news on that. When these names were switched over more than 5 years, were switched over. This happened after 5 years of a whole lot of arguments in Congress to get rid of military installations honoring Confederates, and that started way back in 2020 while Trump was still in office. Now, and this started back in 2020 when the annual defense authorization bill first banned the Defense Department from naming assets after Confederate symbols. At the time, Trump, who was at the end of his first term, vetoed the defense legislation known as the National Defense Authorization Act, partly over the base renaming provision. But the veto was overridden by Congress, meaning it was overwritten by both Republican and Democratic Congress members in both chambers. That was followed by the 2021 NDAA, or National Defense Authorization Act, that mandated a commission to recommend new names for the 9 military bases, with the installations officially receiving their new titles in ceremonies throughout 2023. Now, this comes in direct violation of an act or law that was voted in by Congress. So how they're going to just go up and do this, I don't know. Now, it is not by coincidence that all of these states that are named after Confederate generals are in the South. In the same way you saw in the 1950s and 60s, a slew of Confederate generals' statues being put up in all of these states. It was directly related to Black people getting civil rights, Reconstruction, the aftermath of the Reconstruction era, and them wanting to tell Black people, yeah, we went back and rejoined the Union after we seceded. But please be clear, the ghosts of the Confederates that wanted your asses in shackles and chains will always be here, always be around. And it was supposed to be an intimidation mechanism for Black people. That's what this was. The naming of these bases after. How do you name a fucking military base after your enemies? You're naming U.S. military bases after enemies who you had to defeat. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. You do realize that the Confederate soldiers were the enemies at that time. You do realize, because remember, Trump was the person, I hate losers. I'm not here for losers. Remember, he had all that to say about John McCain being a prisoner of war and the fact that he didn't respect him because I don't respect losers. However, you're naming military bases after a bunch of people that were losers who you defeated, who seceded from the country. I shouldn't say have tried, but who actually seceded from the country, and you had to defeat to keep the country together. That's who you're naming it after. Let's be clear. It's once again is to send a message to Black people. Understand that the ghosts of slavery and the Confederacy will always be a part of this country. That's what this is about. Let's be clear. Mm-hmm. Hey, Paul. I see Trade had Paul late today, y'all. Trade had Paul real late today. All right, so let's get to this, y'all. I've been teasing this for a couple days. I've been rushed the last few days. Didn't have time to really get to it, but we got time today. We got time today, Mr. Hogg. Now, I'm going to tell you where this started. So I have to let you listen to the audio. This all started with some audio that was released by Politico from DNC chair Ken Martin. Okay, he was having a private conversation about the direction of the DNC, about Vice Chair David Hogg, and about his ability to lead the DNC. All right. And so let me cue that for you. All right. All right. So here is the audio. Please don't have a commercial. Please. Here's the audio. The Lord. Oh, commercial. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all couldn't even see it. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. I forgot to share it. Hold on. I done said all of that. Forgot to put it on the screen. All right. There it is. There it is right there. All right. Let's listen. Here we go.
And I'll say, look, it has plenty of warts, and we're all trying to change those for sure. But the longer we continue this fight, the harder it is for us to actually do what we all want to do, which is make a difference in this country again. So I deeply respect you, David. I too was looking forward to working with you, but this has created a situation, and I'll be very honest with you, for the first time in my 100 days on this job, and Jessica knows this, the other night I said to myself for the first time, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And partly not because of the stress and all the naysayers, right? I'm used to that. I've spent 14 years as a chair. I'm used to getting beat up on. But, you know, this is really everything, you know, from this election, this credentials report, and how Malcolm's been treated in this, to you know, the fact the election itself, how Shasti and Gina were treated in this. I'm just quite frustrated to be in this position, because what you've done, whether you like it or not, or know it or not, David, is no one knows who the hell I am, right? I'm trying to get my sea legs underneath of me and actually develop any amount of credibility so I can go out there and raise the money and do the job I need to put ourselves in a position to win. And again, I don't think you intended this, but you essentially destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership that I need to. So it's really frustrating. Jane.
All right, so I gotta come at this from both sides, okay? Part of me is saying I got fever for both sides, okay? I have fever for both sides, okay? I got fever for Ken Martin's side first. Let me tell you something, Ken Martin. First of all, that's not David Hogg's fault. That don't nobody know who the fuck you is. Why the fuck would you run to be the fucking chair of the DNC if you have no brand awareness? You have no name recognition. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. So you can't walk in the room and solicit money like you're supposed to solicit money, because you have no brand awareness. You have no name recognition. That ain't got shit to do with David Hogg. That has everything to do with you, not David Hogg. That's not David Hogg's fault. Let's be brutally honest. That ain't got a fuck thing. And you on this phone, damn near in a fetal position, weeping. You over there weeping. Damn near. You got to take breaths. And your voice so girl, sir. That don't got nothing to do with David Hogg. That's on you. That's poor leadership. That people feel bad. You can say that David Hogg cut your legs from underneath you, but you have demonstrated poor leadership. You have not demonstrated the type of leadership that it takes to do this. Because let me tell you what the real leaders do. You know what the real leaders do? That conversation with David Hogg don't go like that. That conversation with David Hogg goes like this. Let me talk to you for a second. Bruh, what I need you to do is shut the fuck up and get your bitch ass in line. Now, you can record this shit all the fuck you want, but please be clear. I have countless numbers of people who you depend on to get money to fund your little organizations that you have over there. They've already told me they will cut you off. I've talked to the Progressive Caucus. I've talked to the Centrist and Establishment Caucus. They are not behind you, sir. And all of the little money that you and your little organizations have, I will shut that bitch down. You need to sit down, shut the fuck up, and do what we tell you to do. Now, there will be times where I need you to go out there and rant and rave and do all of the things that you do. Now is not that time. That's what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to go over there and put your foot on a bitch neck like, now, sometimes she get on my nerves, but like Nancy Pelosi used to do. You know, Nancy didn't fuck off. Nancy would walk in the room and start going the fuck in on people. The people, listen, my friends who be in them rooms, they say, listen, Nancy, when that door closed, the way Nancy be going the fuck off on people, you wouldn't even imagine. You got to go over there and do that because you're dealing with a party that is far reaching. They always talk about the big tent and to get all of those factions of the Democratic Party in line. Sometimes you got to go in there heavy handed. You letting this young 20-something-year-old punk you. That ain't David Hogg's fault. That's your fault. And so at this point, they should remove you as a leader because with you at the helm at this point, what you've shown me is you're not prepared for 2026 or damn sure ain't prepared for 2028. But you ain't even prepared for to take the DNC into 2026. You're not built for this. Now, David Hogg, I like David Hogg at times, but David Hogg, what you end up doing is you try to take everybody down with you. You put the flush the baby with the bathwater. The Malcolm Kenyatta had to dog walk you a couple weeks ago when we reported that the DNC was saying that they had to redo the vice chair elections. Now, a couple weeks ago, what was that? About a month ago, we reported that the DNC said that they had to redo the vice chair elections with David and Malcolm, and you started to drag Malcolm in your shit, and Malcolm had to come out and dog walk you for a couple days. Did what you have to understand, David, is how to play the game. You cannot let your ambition and your vigor and veracity get in the way of your effectiveness. And that's what's going on with David Hogg. You get real riled up. You get really emotional. You do a lot of things based on the feeling and the emotion at that time, but you haven't learned how to navigate the game. And a lot of people that are far left leaning have to learn that at first. Our girl AOC had to learn how to do that. Hell, Elizabeth Warren had to learn how to do that at one point. My girl Ayanna Pressley had to learn how to do that at one point. You come in there, you have a lot of strong feelings and you want to do all of these things. However, you still have to know how to play the game. If you do not know how to play the game, you'll find yourself out of the game. That's like you going over here at the spades table and you slapping books down in the first couple hands or slapping cards down the first couple books, not have counted the cards correctly, and now when you thought you was finna win, you done lost by a point. You done lost 6-7. And the people who you were slapping cards down on because you was all hyped up, they ended up getting a point. And you end up with no point. You did all of that hooping and hollering, slapping cards down, but you didn't learn how to count the cards. You haven't learned how to navigate and play the game. And while you thinking you doing big shit, you playing against an opponent that's very happy beating you 1 point. By we going to 5, we going to 7. So they get you play a whole 7 games, and they beat you by 1 point each game because your stupid ass ain't learned how to play the game, ain't learned how to count the cards. Playing spades or bid whist ain't just about the cards in your hand. You have to be able to count the cards in other people's hand, and you ain't learned how to do that yet. Hey, Janae, there are things that you have to learn to do. You got to maneuver. Even Malcolm Kenyatta had to learn how to navigate. You got to take a few L's early on. That's a part of growth and learning. And if y'all can't get this together, y'all have this expectation that everything's going to land in your lap in 2026. And I'm telling you, you're not fighting against Trump. You're not fighting against the Democratic Party. You're fighting against the television. You're fighting against the cell phone. You're fighting against the internet. You're fighting against the couch. You're fighting against the bed. You're fighting against people just not going. They feel like Trump is fucking us up, and the Dems don't even look like they're ready to take charge, or they're not ready to lead the country, even if we do give it to them. So everybody just throw up their hands, become apathetic, and don't vote. That's what you got going on if in the Democratic Party, if y'all can't get this shit together. So you got a weak punk ass leader in Ken Martin who shouldn't be the fuck there, and then you got an overzealous person right behind him that don't know how to navigate the system properly to effectuate change for real. And now we're all over the place. No direction, no fucking leadership. And now you are looking at losing another election and sending this country farther into the authoritarian, totalitarian government that it's already careening into. And it'll be your fault. Mm-hmm. Will. It will. It will. Now, David Hogg's, one of his groups, has gotten themselves involved in the race to replace Jerry Connolly. He died a couple weeks ago, remember? And they have to have a special election for his position. So Virginia State Delegate Irene Shin is the one are the ones who David Hogg are trying to get to put in that position, whereas establishment Dems, they want, who do they want? Ugh, lost my place. Oh, they want State Senator Stella Pekarsky to go into that seat. And the special election is set for September 9th. And that'll be here before you know it. There are a couple other people that different factions of the Democratic Party are. A lot of them are supporting State Senator Stella Pekarsky. Some are also backing Fairfax County Planning Commissioner Candace Bennett, and others are backing Fairfax County Supervisor James Walkinshaw. So, because all of that is in that Fairfax is in Jerry Connolly's district, so it's the Democratic Party is in disarray. It's so sad to watch it. This is not good at all, not good at all. But Governor Glenn Youngkin has said that they has set the special election for Jerry Connolly's seat for September 9th. Mm-hmm. Get it together, Dems. Get it together. We have to move on. Your president, we talked briefly about this earlier. Your president was yesterday was at, where was he at? He was at Fort Bragg in North Carolina for the Army's 250th anniversary of the founding of the Army. And so if you look behind him, there's a sea of Army members of the Army, but you notice it's just a couple specks of black faces here and there. Well, members of the crowd members of the crowd that was filled with members of the military and their families booed and jeered President Trump's political rivals at the press and booed the press yesterday when he gave his words at Fort Bragg. The response from attendees, most of whom were wearing military fatigues, was a jarring sight given the military's history as a traditionally nonpartisan entity. Presidents have historically drawn criticism when they have been seen as using the military as a political pawn. President Trump opened with a dig at his predecessor, noting that the Biden administration had renamed Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty under a 2023 congressionally mandated rule to rename installations honoring Confederate generals. The Trump administration has since changed the name back. But these military members were booing. They were booing Biden. They booed when he mentioned Gavin Newsom. They booed when he mentioned Karen Bass. They booed when he mentioned the press. They were all of his political opponents and different things. He was inciting them to boo. It was a mess, and putting the military in between whatever political situations or having them in front of your political ideations, that's political malpractice. I'm just going to be honest. It's tasteless. It's tacky, and I even fault those military those members of the military who sat there and allowed themselves to be used that way. I shudder to think that you had orders from, and I'm not in the military. I ain't never been in the military, so I could just be speculating. But I shudder to think that you had orders from your your military leaders telling you you better boo when he say these people names and you better cheer when he say these people names. Maybe they told them that. I don't know. Maybe they had orders to boo and cheer when they hear certain things. But the military is not supposed to be involved in your political leanings. Exactly, tacos and tequila. He doesn't give a damn about the military at all. Does not give a rat's ass. Let me move on before I spike out. For those of you soccer fans, football, well, ICE has now infiltrated soccer. Let me read this to you. Confusion surrounds the FIFA Club World Cup set to kick off in Miami this weekend after the Department of Customs and Border Patrol and ICE announced they will be providing security for the event. Inter Miami is poised to face Al Ahly Sporting Club from Egypt on Saturday night, and it's unclear who, if anyone, on behalf of FIFA or Hard Rock Stadium asked for the federal government security support. And a now deleted Facebook post by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol account asserted that the agency would be, quote, suited and booted, end of quote, for the event. Actually, what they said was, let the games begin. The first FIFA World Cup The first FIFA Club World Cup games start on June 14th in Miami, Florida at Hard Rock Stadium. CBP will be suited and booted, ready to provide security for the first round of games. The vague language behind the statement is causing confusion on the role CBP and ICE will have at the game. It's extremely unusual to have border protection personnel serve as security for a sporting event, especially you're talking about Miami, who has an NFL football team, a NBA basketball team, a Major League Baseball team, and a hockey team. Well, that's in Broward County, but still, they are more than capable. They have more than enough personnel between Miami-Dade Police Department, between City of Miami Gardens Police Department, which is the city that surrounds the stadium, between and any other of the dozens of law enforcement agencies there. Why are you having these people there? Oh, because you're going to have people from other countries in Miami for this match. So they will be checking proof of visas, passports, and everything. They will be snatching people up. Now, Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava, as along with FIFA President Gianni Infantino, said they aren't worried about ICE and CBP officers being present at the event. Saying, according to the president of FIFA, he said, quote, "No, I didn't have any concerns about anything in the sense that we are very attentive on any security question. Of course, the most important for us is to guarantee security for all the fans who come to the games. This is our priority," end of quote. Mayor Levine Cava said, quote, "We're here to make sure people are safe. That's our focus, to work with all of the law enforcement personnel, our safety personnel, and make sure that they have a seamless experience," end of quote. I don't buy that shit. You have NFL games, college football games that happen there every fucking day. Okay? Y'all have no problems with security then. Now all of a sudden, oh, we need Customs and Border Patrol. We need ICE. Y'all ain't fooling nobody. And if y'all fall for that shit, go ahead, go with God. I have nothing for you. Hey, Harold. Listen, be prepared to get snatched up. I'm just head on a swivel because they will be snatching people up. Bill. Anyway, moving on. Now, update on our girl LaMonica McIver from New Jersey. Remember, she was arrested along with Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman as well in that skirmish that they had outside of the ICE detention center in New Jersey. Well, here's the update. Representative LaMonica McIver was indicted yesterday on federal charges stemming from a confrontation with law enforcement at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention center in Newark last month. The interim U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba, said on X that a federal grand jury indicted McIver on 3 counts of, quote, forcibly impeding and interfering with federal law enforcement officers, end of quote. Alina Habba also said, quote, "While people are free to express their views for or against political policies, they must not do so in a manner that endangers law enforcement and the communities those officers serve," end of quote. Alina Habba ain't shit. She's not. Now, Representative McIver called the legal proceedings, quote, "a brazen attempt at political intimidation," end of quote, and says she will plead not guilty. Remember, they also arrested Mayor Ross Baraka, and they dropped his charges, but they decided that they wanted to indict representative. This is a sitting representative in the House of Representatives of these yet to be United States of America. I have no words for these people. I'm going to continue to monitor this situation. I have no words for these people. This is a horrible and dangerous place. In more New Jersey news, the results of the primaries from yesterday's elections, um from yesterday's election in New Jersey are in. And the Associated Press has projected that U.S. Representative Mickey Sherrill, um, who you see pictured there, they have projected that she will win New Jersey's Democratic gubernatorial primary, and that former state assemblyman Jack um, Chiatar, C- Chit- Chiatarelli will win New Jersey's Republican gubernatorial primary, setting up a competitive race in November where President Donald Trump's inroads with Garden State voters could be tested. Republicans are hoping to flip the governorship, from blue to red, and point to last year's presidential results as a sign that the state has gotten more favorable for Republicans. Listen, we were rooting for Mayor Ross Baraka. He did not secure that primary, and that's why I told y'all primaries are very important. We have to go. If you want your people to get in there, if you want to stop saying, oh, I have to pick the lesser of two evils, you have to get involved in the primaries. That is how they determine whose issues are going to be at the forefront of uh, uh, of their campaigns. That is where you can get somebody in there who you truly believes is most aligned with your political ideologies. So yeah, so that's the update on that. I teased this story yesterday as well. So I want to finally be able to give y'all this story. All right. Relatives and friends of the Linfield High School class of 2025 who tuned into the small Massachusetts town's live stream of graduation ceremonies overheard some unwanted and outdated commentary over a live mic last Friday. Unnamed city employees who were apparently setting up chairs on the football field were recorded saying inappropriate and racist remarks, and that's according to Linfield town officials. The video appears to capture footage of workers setting up chairs on the football field for the ceremony. They were clearly heard using at least two racist terms, including the N word. One man in the video said, quote, yeah, I heard you're a racist nigger too, end of quote. The second man says, yeah, end of quote. I'm sorry, he didn't say you're a racist nigger. He said you're a racist fucker too. Excuse me, got that one wrong. He said, yeah, I heard you're a racist fucker too. End of quote. And the other man said, yeah. Then the first man said, quote, it's the black man keeping us down. End of quote. The second man said, yeah, I hate spicks and niggers. End of quote. Why are we surprised? Now, this was being live streamed, and they didn't know they were being live streamed. So people all over the town were looking at this. Mm-hmm. Why are we surprised? Why are we surprised? Anyway, moving on. As we belly flop outside of the Sugar Spike segment and deeper into the dossier, Nicki Minaj is in the news. Nicki Minaj, she woke up and said she had time. Well, she there now it's being reported that she is on the remix of Lil Wayne's Banned from NO. Just days after the Carter 6 dropped without features from either her or Drake. The absence of they're saying that the absence of both of them sparked speculation online, with many wondering if something deeper was going on behind the scenes. Nicki dropped a few surprise bars though, with one line in particular having social media in the chokehold, where she said, quote, "If I send a pic of Shannon, you ain't that sharp," end of quote. She followed up on X to break it down, saying, quote, "If I send a pic of Shannon, you ain't that sharp." She wrote, end of quote, she wrote on her social media as well. Also in the same post, she wrote, quote, "Yeah, nigga, you thought I forgot that Nicki, who shit you did and laughed my fucking ass off. Just kidding. Ocho Cinco almost caught a strizzy just by being around your crazy tail self." End of quote. Baby, I can't read this broken English. I don't understand this shit. I don't know these people. I don't understand this shit. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit about Nicki Minaj and what the fuck she got going on. Ma'am, get the fuck away from me and go with God. Why are you even in my dossier? Harold, I couldn't make shit of it either. The shit was not making sense. I couldn't even read it. I speak American English. That's what I speak. Whatever the fuck it was she was writing, I had no understanding. And now I'm spiking out because of Nicki. Now I got to just get me another one of these because I'm spiking out. It's spiking all the way out. And I'm going to try not to spike out on this. So, every Pride Month, every single Pride Month, without fail, you people find some controversy involving the gay community that y'all want to be bothered with. Every Pride Month without fail. Can I have a Pride Month where we could just be happy and gay? Be who you are. Okay? Can we just have a Pride Month where we don't have to go down these roads and do these long ass soliloquies and shit? Here's the original video.
Do you only know gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
Well, okay. Well, I you know when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you,
Yeah. What is he?
well, he likes women.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
And if he does know, he likes women.
Okay.
Now,
so, but what is he?
Well, that would possibly, it's a possibility.
He's bisexual?
He could be bi or he could be pan.
Okay, what was pan? I forgot. That means you be whatever you like, whatever you like.
Hearts,
pan.
not hearts.
Right. So whatever you see you like, whatever I'm on, that's what I'm on today.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
You know, a lot of men are a lot of men are pan, but they don't say anything. Like
I don't want to run into them. I don't want to date him.
Nene, if you've dated,
I need you to like
Nene, if you've
Hello
dated,
Kitty
if
all
you
the time.
What do y'all want from me? Not, and I'm not, that's not a rhetorical question. I literally am asking you all. Y'all, the majority of my chat, believe it or not, are heterosexual individuals. Are what we call cis het. You are cisgendered, heterosexual individuals. That's the majority of my chat, right? And I'm going to ask you all, what do y'all need from me? What do y'all want from me in the addressing of this topic? I'm here for y'all. I am here for however y'all want me to go down this road with this. I'm asking that is not a rhetorical question. That is a real question. What do y'all want me to say? Do I need to drop the link just in case somebody might want to come say it with their chest? I really want to know what y'all what do y'all want me to how do y'all want me to address this? How do y'all want me to navigate this? I just really want to know. Because let's be clear. T.S. Madison is much better now than she was some years ago. She used to be as transphobic as some of the other people in some of her statements. And she in recent years has come a long way in how she speaks to these issues and talks about these issues. I'm not a trans person. Contrary to popular belief, I keep trying to tell y'all, these letters, y'all throw them together, but throwing all of the letters of the LGBTQ plus community together is like throwing BIPOC or Black indigenous people of color. Just having that term, people of color, right? People of color. And when you put all the different minorities and people of color and say we're all lumped in this thing together, knowing that all of those different races and ethnicities are very different, have very different lived experiences, have different cultures, have different ideations, have different everything. Same way with the Rainbow Coalition compound. The L people do their own thing, be in their own world. Many of them are just as homophobic toward the gays as cishet people. The gays be over here in their little world. They be to themselves. Many of them are just as transphobic as some of the cishet people as well. Some of the trans community, they don't be seeing it for the other. These letters are separate entities with their separate own experiences, separate lived experiences. Now, I'm saying that for a purpose. If y'all notice, I don't do a lot of explaining the gay community, dissecting the gay diaspora community and things like that. You want to know why? For the same reason that it ain't my job to explain the whole Black experience to white people, it ain't my job to explain the whole gay lived experience to people that are not. Those people who want to know, they will seek the information and they will make it known, and certainly that conversation can be had. But I ain't here to listen. If I'm T.S. Madison and Nene goes down this road, baby, if that's how you feel, I can't try to re-educate you. I ain't got the time to be going down this road with you. We are in 2025. If you don't understand, because T.S. Madison, you were supposed to check her. Let me go back. Let me see if y'all catch the part where T.S. Madison should have checked her. I'm going to play it again. Listen closely. See if y'all catch the part where she should have checked T.S. Madison should have checked her.
Do you only know gay men?
Well, I don't date gay men.
Well, okay. Well, I when you guys be saying that, that's weird.
Why?
Because what do you mean you don't date gay men? Because if he is sleeping with you and sleeping with a woman, he's something.
Well, he's not gay.
What is he?
He's definitely not gay.
He's bi?
Listen, because if a man come in here and he looks at me and you,
yeah, What is
And
he?
well, he likes women.
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
Well,
But-
if he does know, he likes women.
Okay.
Now-
so, but what is he?
Well, that would possibly, it's a possibility.
He's bisexual?
He could be bi or he could be pan.
Okay, what was pan? I forgot. That means you be whatever you like, whatever you like.
Parts,
pan.
not parts.
Right. So whatever you see you like, whatever I'm on, that's what I'm on today.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
You know, a lot of men are
Yeah.
a lot of men are pan, but they don't say anything. Like
I don't want to run into them. I don't want to date him.
Nene, if you've dated,
I need you to like
Nene, if you've
Hello
dated,
Kitty
if
all
you
the time.
Did y'all catch the part where Nene was supposed to get checked? When Nene said, if he's dating you and dating a woman, you are right there. You basically just told her you're not a woman. Y'all heard that part when she said, well, if he's dating you and dating a woman, that was supposed to be the check right there. And when I heard that, even if you didn't check her, T.S. Madison, when she said that, I would have immediately checked out. I don't even need to try to have this conversation with you because you don't even see me as a woman. So the fact that you don't even see me as a woman, me trying to explain this to you is an exercise of futility. I already see where we're at. Baby, I'm not wasting my time. And let's be clear, Nene done been around the game a long time. Nene's in fucking entertainment. All of these terms and words, pansexual, she knows exactly what the fuck they are. She's heard them before. She's being willfully, or she's playing coy or playing like she doesn't know. This bitch lived in fucking Atlanta, Georgia. The fuck are you talking about? I'm not gonna explain this to you, ma'am, because you know what the fuck it is. Now you are either being intentionally ignorant or you're being disrespectful. And I wonder, because normally T.S. Madison is really good about catching shit and checking bitches real fast. I ain't got nothing to do with it. It's not my job to teach these people what this is, especially a person who I know you already know what all of this got going on. Baby, I'm not going through this with you. In the year of our Lord 2025, people that want to be ignorant will be continue to be willfully ignorant, okay? All you got to do is pull up a Google. You have a phone and you can say, what is such a... Baby, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not. People all in a hissy fit. They all calling Nene all types of transphobes. And they going through all of the rigmarole. And baby, why waste the energy? Why? Why waste the energy? How my girl Erica De Niro says, protect your energy. Isn't that what my girl Erica De Niro say? Protect your energy. Nene, you know exactly what all of this got going on. You know exactly what all of this stuff is. Baby, we don't have this type of time. I see people doing doctoral theses, doctoral dissertations, I should say, and master's theses online and doing all of this, that, and the third. Baby, for what? For what? You thought it was gonna be cute. You thought it was gonna be funny. I think she thought she was gonna get one of those explosive moments because she's trying to get ratings. Let's be clear. She's trying to get traction. She's trying to get people over there. So she's gonna say some insidious things in order to have a sound bite. That's just like there was a conversation because I watched a good portion of it. I wanted to have context for this. There was a good portion of the conversation where Nene talked about T.S. Madison's parts. Why are we having those types of conversations? A trans woman that gets on the stage, there's in front of somebody, there should never be conversations about their parts, ever. She's looking for ratings. She's looking for a moment. Because if you believe that Nene don't know nothing about that, you're dreaming. The woman lived in fucking Atlanta. Girl, I don't have this type of time. Remember I told y'all we was going to talk about Trisha McLaughlin? Well, that's Trisha McLaughlin on the right. That's Kim Kardashian skank on the left. Now, let me give you the background. Kim Kardashian skank posted this on her Instagram yesterday. She said, quote, when we're speaking about the ICE protests and so forth, quote, when we're told that ICE exists to keep our country safe and remove violent criminals, great. But when we witness innocent, hardworking people being ripped from their families in inhumane ways, we have to speak up. We have to do what's right. Growing up in LA, I've seen how deeply immigrants are woven into the fabric of this city. They are our neighbors, friends, classmates, co-workers, and family. No matter where you fall politically, it's clear that our communities thrive because of the contributions of immigrants. We can't turn a blind eye when fear and injustice keeps people from living their lives freely and safely. There has to be a better way. That's what she posted on her Instagram story. Now, then on X, an account, the pop base account, which has a lot of followers, retweeted Kim Kardashian skank and said, um, and quoted said, Kim Kardashian skank speaks out against ICE amid their deportation raids in LA, and put a part of the quote and then put Kim Kardashian skank's picture and the actual post, right? Trisha McLaughlin, who's the spokesperson for the fucking Department of Homeland Security, bitch, you ain't got shit to be doing. You ain't got shit to do. I'm just saying. I feel like if you're the spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, that keeps you pretty busy nowadays. But she had time because she wanted to get it to, so she replied when Pop Base posted that. She replied to Pop Base and posted this. At Kim Kardashian skank, which one of these convicted child molesters, murderers, drug traffickers, and rapists would you like to see in the country? I think that's supposed to be country, not county. Since we're that's what we're doing. These are just a few of the convicted illegal criminals who have been picked up in the last 72 hours. First of all, I don't know any of that to be true. Let's be clear. These people are known liars. These people are fucking known liars. Those could be anybody. These people are known liars. I have no reason to believe any parts of what Trisha McLaughlin said. I don't know who these people are. I don't know if you just picked them up. I don't even know if these are illegal immigrants. I don't know anything. And even if they are, how is it okay for you as a government official to be posting this information? Because if you pick them up in the last 72 hours, how have they clearly, if they were convicted child molesters, murderers, drug traffickers, and rapists, clearly they were out of jail. Maybe they had served their time, because how else would they be out of jail had they been convicted? If these people were convicted of rape, drug trafficking, and murder and child molestation, wouldn't they be in jail? I'm just asking. And if they're not in jail, doesn't that mean that they've served their time, paid their penance to society? Aren't these supposed to be correctional facilities, rehabilitation and correctional facilities where they're supposed to be corrected in their actions and rehabilitated into society? Shouldn't they be upstanding members of society now if they're out? Because clearly, if they are convicted, these are people, these are crimes that if you're convicted of, you don't get out that fast. And if they were convicted and sentenced and were truly illegal aliens, wouldn't they have been deported at that time? If you are convicted, she didn't say charged, she said convicted. If you are convicted, meaning you are sentenced, and you find out in the sentencing process that they are an illegal alien, don't they get deported right then? And if they're not deported, wouldn't they be serving long prison sentences if they were convicted of these alleged crimes? That's why I say you cannot believe this shit. You cannot believe this shit. They just be making shit up to try to prove a point, just be putting lies out there. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And you're supposed to be a fucking spokesperson for a whole ass government agency. Am I wrong? Like, if they were convicted, wouldn't they have been deported? Or wouldn't they still be in prison? We're talking serious crimes here. Child molestation, murder, drug trafficking, rape. She's saying they are convicted. So why would they need to be picked up if they were convicted? Like, I'm just trying to make this make sense here. Because they would have been sentenced and been in prison or already deported. Like, girl, if you don't go sit your ass down, I can't stand Trisha McLaughlin. She make my ass itch. She get on my fucking nerve and make my whole ass itch. I can't stand her. But that shit just don't make, and you just, as stupid ass MAGA people, just go along with it. Yeah, convicted, da 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 da. That shit don't even sound right. But y'all go along with whatever these people tell you. They said it must be true. Fuck out of here. I know that some of y'all watched that show, Love Island. Is it Love? What's the name? I don't watch all of these shows. What's the name? Love is Blind. So apparently, these are two people from the show Love is Blind. His name is Milton Johnson. Her name is Lydia Gonzalez. Apparently, they got married. Well, she's on the record saying that, quote, maybe the internet was right that he wasn't ready for marriage, end of quote. Really? During an appearance on AD's What's the Reality podcast, Lydia revealed she filed for divorce from husband Milton Johnson after nearly 3 years of marriage. Quote, it has been too much to keep quiet. I've been suffering in silence. End of quote, she explained. According to Lydia, their split wasn't caused by just one issue, but a buildup of problems over time. She recalled finding messages where Milton allegedly said another woman had, quote, been all around this dick lately, end of quote, and that he wanted to, quote, fuck her, end of quote. And that's what Lydia shared on the podcast. She said, quote, my heart went to the floor. I felt betrayed and disrespected, end of quote. The couple gave therapy a shot, but things didn't get better. Lydia recalled, quote, I didn't feel like the therapy was working. End of quote. She claimed that Milton began criticizing her for cussing too much, wearing swimsuits, and, quote, nagging him all the time. End of quote. She said the way he treated her made her feel small. She pushed back on the idea that their 7-year age difference or long distance period was to blame. She pointed to a deeper issue, quote, a lack of emotional availability, maturity, and support and communication, end of quote. And as she put it, quote, maybe the internet was right that he wasn't ready for marriage, end of quote. I don't know these people. I don't have nothing to do with it. Ma'am, you went and married some trifling ass motherfucker that you bet off a TV show. How did you think this was gonna end? I'm just saying. Hey, Catherine Powell. I don't know these people. Um, that is Atlanta-based rapper by the name of Silento. Well, his real name is Richard Hawk. He was just sentenced to 30 years in prison after pleading guilty, um, but mentally ill, to voluntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, and other charges connected to the 2021 murder of his cousin. He's most known for his 2015 debut single, Watch Me. Oh, that's the Watch Me Nip, Watch Me Name, Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene. Now, isn't that the I thought, oh no, he did the juju on that beat. In the porn guy, Tay Hill figure, he wasn't on this song. He was on Juju on that beat. This is Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene. Okay. I got it. The victim was found shot to death in the early hours of January 21st, 2021, outside a home in DeKalb County, Georgia. Witnesses reported hearing gunshots, and surveillance footage showed a white BMW SUV speeding away from the scene. A family member told police that Rooks had been seen with Salento, who picked him up in a white SUV. Prosecutors said Salento later admitted to the shooting, and that shell casings found at the scene matched the gun found on him during the arrest. He's claiming he was mentally ill when he shot him. Baby, I don't have nothing to do with it. Apparently, they didn't believe you. They gave you 30 years. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what was going on. I have nothing to do with it, sir. I have nothing. Okay, sir, go with God. Um, this story popped up on my timeline. Well, Chris Webber has broken his silence amid swirling rumors that he fathered the eldest daughter of his former Sacramento Kings teammate, Doug Christie. A claim that, if true, would imply a decades-old affair with Doug Christie's wife, Jackie Christie. The explosive allegation, reportedly tied to an unverified $4.6 million lawsuit, has made waves online despite there being no official documentation to support its validity. Yesterday, Chris Webber, who you see in the middle, took to social media to directly address the speculation, labeling the story a complete fabrication and warning. Is that Chris Webber or Doug Christie who said that? Labeling the story a complete fabrication and warning of legal consequences for those spreading the claims. I think that's Doug Christie that said that. Now Chris Webber did say in a video, quote, "What's up, party people? Man, the internet is undefeated, huh?" End of quote. He said in a video. He went on to say in that video, quote, "That's why I'm going to give this friendly reminder. You can't believe everything you read, see, or hear, especially when they're all lies. No proof, just made up lies." End of quote. Chris Webber said, visibly frustrated. He went on to say, quote, "If you have a platform and you have content with my name attached to lies, take it down now. To those that started the rumors, that started the lies and continue to spread the lies, I dare you not to take it down. I dare you to repeat the lie. You are not going to defame my name. Of course, the lawyers are in action. Of course, they are emotional and motivated." End of quote. I don't know if Chris Webber fucked Jackie Kennedy or not. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Jackie Christie, not Jackie Kennedy. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if this. I don't know. I don't know if this is the daughter that Jackie abandoned or not. But they said that ain't Doug Christie. Well, Is the daughter dark skinned? How? Because I think that would explain a lot. You know, Chris Webber is real dark skinned, and Doug Christie is real light skinned. So I'm figuring if the daughter is dark skinned, that because Jackie Christie, she got a brown skin, but she ain't that dark. So I'm figuring if the daughter is dark brown or something like that, that might be Chris Webber's daughter. The channel started the rumors. I don't. Chef Don Don say the AI channel started it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't know. Now we know that Doug Christie and Chris Webber were teammates down to the Sacramento Kings back in the day when they were playing Kobe and Shaq with the Lakers, early 2000s and stuff. hmm The oldest daughter is by someone else though. Before she married Doug. Mm, mm. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'll let y'all work that out. Y'all go figure that out and go with God. In our last story of the day, I just can't stand his ass either. Well, apparently, speaking of rumors, the Hollywood Reporter spoke with Stephen A. Smith about the rumors that he has a 9-figure contract with ESPN, meaning at least $100 million. During that interview, he was asked point blank if he signed a $100 million deal with ESPN. He said, quote, I don't answer questions about my dollars, but what I'll say to you is that the contract that I signed with ESPN and Walt Disney, I'm very happy with it. It's over 5 years. End of quote. I mean, for those people that want to go on over there, you can go ahead. I'm just saying. He said, quote, I have obligations to ESPN, but I also have freedom. If I wanted to, I could do my own talk show tomorrow. I could do my own news show tomorrow. I could do a game show tomorrow. I have my audio rights. I have an inordinate amount of freedom that I have never had in my career. And that is the biggest part of the contract that a lot of people don't realize. You don't have to study the math in your industry. I'm sorry, you have to study the math in your industry. It's imperative that you understand what their definition of success is. Then I could say I have met those expectations, if not exceeded it, which positioned me to say, this is what I'm worth. This is why I deserve this. End of quote. I mean, I guess get your money, get your payday. He probably got it. I don't think that number just popped out of the sky, out of nowhere. These things get leaked all over the place. And you a black man making that kind of money, some white man probably learned of it and leaked it out to the press. So I believe every part of you having $100 million contract because some white man believes that you don't belong there and is probably aiming coming at your throat to get that $100 million snatched from you. I'm just saying. He's such a coon. He's such a fucking coon and clown. Anyway, well, that's the dossier today, y'all. That is the dossier. Did y'all enjoy yourselves today? If you enjoyed yourself today, put a 27 in the chat. So while we're here, I know we went long today because we had a lot to discuss. And I thank Really B for giving me real estate to do that today. So I don't have to feel so rushed tomorrow. So we had to get a lot out. If you so choose to, you could always feel free to support the platform using the QR code you see there. Support this type of media because we try to give you facts and truths and try to keep you away from lies and fabrications. Certainly, I know our girl Faye is in the chat. We are certainly praying for and with our fellow pupil Faye Knighton, who and in the loss of her mother. Hopefully, we gave you a few moments to come over and laugh and get away from it all. But we certainly are praying for your peace and comfort at this time. Listen, y'all, we'll be back tomorrow. I am not going out of town this weekend, so we will have Silly Saturday this weekend. So you can look forward to that. I'm about to get up out of here. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I done did 2 shows today, and I am tired. That's all I have for y'all for now. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. If that's all, I will catch y'all tomorrow. If I decide to have trade over Paul, that's my prerogative. Let me get me a piece of trade every now and again. Anyway, until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow.